Welcome back to the channel, friends. On today's video, we're going to be going over the well that we had drilled. And if you've been with us for any amount of time, you know that we purchased this property a little over a year ago. I worked on clearing the trees, pulling the stumps, leveling it off. We're pretty good now. Boulder wall installed all the way around, and then our house sits right here, or tiny home. We'll revisit that in a different video. But we're to the point where we need a well and we need a septic. And so I started calling well companies last October, throughout the winter, throughout the spring. No one would call me back. I get it, we're all busy, but like, just call me back. And so I called a pretty local company here, King Water Wells, and I got a hold of Keegan. He called me. I can't remember if he called me right back or he answered his phone. It was pretty quick, regardless. And he's like, hey, I can meet you out there later today, and we can kind of go over where you want it and pricing and different things like that. And I said, today? I'm like, that'd be awesome. And we were doing a brick paper patio down in East Grand Rapids, so I had to, and it's about a half hour, 40 minutes north of Grand Rapids from East Grand Rapids to our property. So I'm like trying to get there and such, and he was here probably about a half hour before I was. So he did a little research, because you can look up the water wells in the area and the different depths, so you can kind of gauge where, you know, we would be digging this one. And he said it'd be pretty safe around 190 feet, and I said, great. We kind of went over pricing, and he said he'd send me an email with it all broken down, and I'm like, green light, let's go, let's do this. And he's like, okay. And I said, could we schedule it for like the end of May? And he's like, yeah. And I said May 27th, and he's like, that's perfect, it's my birthday. So happy birthday, Keegan. But it was one of those things where it was like, we've called so many companies, and they were the first to respond. They were first to come out to like check out the site, and the pricing seemed, as far as I could tell, it seemed fair enough. I was like, let's go. So they show up. Oh, the night before they show up, he's like, hey, I have some students from Western Michigan University that are from the hydrology class. They'd like to come out and just kind of like watch the process and stuff like that. Would that be okay? And I said, yeah, that'd be perfect, as long as I can film for YouTube. And he said, yeah, cool, awesome. So it all kind of worked out. Well, the next morning they show up, they get the rig here, they put the tower up, and all these students from Western Michigan University, like, I was thinking maybe like 10. No, it's like all these kids, they're probably close to my age, they're coming down in the driveway, and they're all in like high vis and everything like that. And I'm like, man, it's like a party now. We got like 30, 40 people here, let's go. So they got in, got it all set up, and the process to set up before you drill a well, I didn't realize it's quite a process to set up all the like I'm gonna mess this up, guys, but it's like a water sand separator that they had set up that pulled the sand out and it piled it up, and then they had just a bunch of hoses and everything. And I don't know, like, I asked a bunch of questions. I was like a 5-year-old. I asked why, and this is why I'm kind of narrating this, because I just took a bunch of video, because I was standing there talking to them, asking a whole bunch of questions, and they were by far they answered every question I had, because I was like, okay, well, what about that, and where does that go, and why are you pouring that powder in there? And they answered every question and gave a really detailed answer, which I fully appreciate, because I don't know, like, when I see well driller trucks out, I'm like, all right, you just drill a hole and you put the casing in and boom, you're done. It's a whole bunch more than that. So that's why I was out there asking questions, and that's why I'm currently narrating this. So let's get into the video. Let's get to the action here. got water now. This is awesome. Great day, awesome weather. Special thanks to the Western Michigan University hydrology class for coming out. If you're part of that, comment down below. I'd love to see it. Definite thanks to King Water Wells. 5 stars across the board. These guys know what they're doing. And we have kind of a temporary water setup here now, but it will be moved into our tiny home in the coming months when we get that delivered. Whole separate video. And that's about it. It's here. We're now moving on, putting the septic system in, but that will be another video also. So, as always, like, comment, especially if you're part of the hydrology class, down below. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we'll see you next time.